Welcome back to Going in Space and talking about politics.
Yes, politics in space.
Politics in space.
Because everything is better in space.
I agree. Can't I go in the sphere?
Although I have a feeling that politics is probably one of the things that is not better in space.
I don't know.
Politics probably gets worse when you go into space.
I mean, it's what era of space, right?
Yeah.
How do I go outside now?
Probably through the airlock.
Yeah, I'd probably just go there. Sorry, I just had like pistachios and they're caught in my throat now, so I'm just gonna sound terrible for forever now.
The best radio ever.
Airlock. Okay. Internal hatch. I need to close.
You probably have to be in the airlock first, though. Are you actually in the airlock? Because it looks like you're accessing this panel from outside the airlock.
That is a good point.
You almost locked yourself in.
I would have figured it out pretty quickly.
Well, what would be really funny is if you like hard locked the game. We had to like,
soft locked it, but yes. Okay, internal hatch.
Yeah, sorry, soft lock, right.
External hatch.
Yes, airlocks work the best when you are inside the airlock.
Depress. Oh, I didn't know that was the opposite of compress. Cool. Oh, there's a lot of shaking going on. Okay, so yes, I agree that in general, like a government can be more efficient. The problem is it has to actually get bigger to be a bureaucracy that can be efficient, if that makes sense. Like you need checks and balances. You need a scope of government before that efficiency kicks in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the same thing. It's economies of scale.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing as in the private sector, right? Like manufacturing something does not get cheap until you manufacture a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's
before you get there, the private, sector is probably better and more efficient, right? Like that's the reason, like, you needed capitalism to transition from feudalism. You couldn't go straight into socialism because you didn't have the economies of scale to make that improvement in the quality of life. And that's what I wanted to get back to. Oh, I'm just going to take in the view for a minute, okay?
Yeah, no, it's a nice view. Neither of us is ever going to be there, so this is the only chance we get to look at something like this.
Yeah, but yes, you cannot go straight from you can't skip steps, is I guess the way I'm trying to say in economies, unless like new technology comes out that lets you totally hardcore do that, like is happening in the third world right now, right? Like developing nations are developing so fast because they have technologies that didn't exist when the United States and other countries were
right. Well, and some of them are actually leapfrogging us because you've got developing countries like China and India that are world leaders in renewable energy, while the United States is, hanging on to fossil fuels for as long as we can, even though the fossil fuel companies are like, we should be switching to renewables because.
And that's part of why the private enterprise is where it is less efficient.
Well, my understanding is that the only reason right now that solar is not kicking fossil fuels' ass is because of government subsidies to fossil fuels. Because remember, the government subsidizes coal and oil, too.
And it also subsidizes nuclear, and everyone's like, well, nuclear is being subsidized. Yeah, everything is getting subsidized.
Right, and so is coal and oil. And that's the only reason that coal and oil right now are still competitive, because...
Do you know where these clamps I'm looking for are? Do you know what she's talking about? She's like, disconnect the clamps.
For which section? For which module?
She's not quite saying.
I remember having a hard time finding the clamps in this as well.
Maybe that's the point, is you're supposed to explore and just look around.
That's part of it. They definitely want you to enjoy the view. I mean, one of the first things I did was I just flew far away from the space station so I could see everything in one frame.
A perspective of it.
I don't know that necessarily makes for a good Let's Play, but I definitely tried taking in the view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and like philosophically, I hate the concept of anti-government because, like, if you want to do that, go do that then. Like, go homestead out in the middle of nowhere in a non-governmental...
Here's a thought experiment, all right? And bear with me on this. You and I are neighbors.
Uh-huh.
We have a disagreement.
Yeah.
Right? How do we solve that disagreement?
Oh, I know. Trust me. I believe in the nature of government and having to have, like, having to have an authority that can enforce things.
Again, let's, for our listeners.
Oh, right.
Thought experiment, John.
Yeah,
come on.
We need to go to a third party.
We go to a third-party arbiter, right? So who picks the third-party arbiter?
Right. Yeah.
So if you pick the third-party arbiter, I can say, no, I don't accept that third-party arbiter. But if I pick the third-party arbiter and you're like, okay, fine, we'll go with your third-party arbiter, and my third-party arbiter sides with you, I could just say, well, no, screw it. Yeah. I'm not abiding. And now what do you do?
And now private parties often do. They usually do, like, come to agree on a an arbiter, but not always.
But the thing is we can get a neutral third-party arbiter, and I can still say, or one of us can still say, no, I'm not going with it. I disagree with the arbiter's decision. I challenge it.
Do we know what the EASR arm is? Do you know what that means? Is it a big arm, or does it mean like arm of the station?
So you're trying to clamp or unclamp something?
I'm trying to unclamp something.
I think it's probably one of the damaged ones then that you got to let go.
Okay.
But I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
This part was very difficult, and part of it was just staying oriented. It might be that thing over there that's broken. You just scrolled past it, up.
That right there? There's lots of stuff broken like that, though.
I can just cross my arms and say no. And then what do? We go to another third-party arbiter, and the same thing happens. That arbiter can decide for you, and I can still say no. I don't care about that one either. Eventually, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right? Like, eventually, somebody with guns has to come and say, no, you will abide by the arbiter's decision.
Yeah.
And that somebody is what a government is.
Yes. Yeah, that is the basic premise of a government is we're solving disputes, and then it starts to get things. Oh, okay. I was just at ES3, so you were correct. That this was it.
And I mean, it's just a simple thought experiment, right? Like that's because in this libertarian, anarcho-libertarian paradise, that's how everything would be handled. Everything would be private contracts between individuals, and every dispute would be private arbitration.
And that just has such huge inefficiencies because, like, building roads is like the first thing. Like, yes, you could negotiate that all, but it's going to be insanely inefficient compared to one person just saying, these are where the roads are going to be. I researched.
But it gets even worse, right? Because if everyone building the roads are private industries or corporation, they're competing with each other.
Right.
They're not even necessarily going to want to cooperate to build an efficient road network. Like if you've ever played, and you can see this in like board games. You've played like Railways of the World.
Even Settlers of Catan. Like
right?
that's the most basic.
You're competing with each other. You don't build an efficient road network.
Yeah.
Because that's not the end goal.
Right. Yeah, capitalism is a tool to solve problems, and it doesn't solve every problem the best. Like
right, and in some cases it's actually counterproductive.
Yeah.
Like for
sometimes
example,
it's worse than literal anarchy.
It can be, yeah. Well, right, because it promotes certain behaviors that are antisocial. You know, capitalism promotes greed. You know, it promotes exploitation and abuse of labor.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, and other things do too. And like, I do want to point out, it's still great. Capitalism was great. It's just it needs to work in tandem with other things. Like, I'm at the point where I believe we need to fix capitalism right now. Like, we need to patch it, but we also need to patch it knowing that we need to slowly start moving to a more social system, a more planned system. Okay, that's all. We're in the rust.
You almost said the two dirty words, planned economy.
I mean, you need to partially plan an economy, a little bit. I mean, we do that already. We have policy that plans our economy.
Right, that's what subsidies are.
Yeah, that's part of it. And everyone agrees that some subsidies are needed and some subsidies suck.
I'm thinking you have to disconnect that thing that's like drifting.
That out there?
No, you were just focusing right there.
That right there?
Right. See the part that's like floating off by itself?
That's what I need to disconnect, you think? Possibly?
That's what I'm thinking, right?
I mean, that's what it pointed to me at initially. I just didn't see any controls or anything. But I'm having fun navigating around, so there's at least that.
I know there's like hidden stuff in here as well too. There's like
Sam, it's still there. We can check it out.
Okay. Oh, did I find the right thing?
No, this is. I think this is more like a side quest kind of thing. But go ahead, go inside and explore.
Go inside.
Yeah, it's like broken in half. You can go inside of it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Don't break more stuff. It's a little cluttered in here. It's like
it's been decompressed. Yeah, it's been exploded and decompressed.
Something bad must have happened here. I wonder what.
Like
probably me.
Like some kind of explosion.
I probably did it. Is that? I guess that's it.
No, you can go inside. Actually, inside of the thing.
I can go further in here. It feels like.
I don't know about that direction, but definitely the other way.
Oh well, okay. You mean over into there?
Yes.
It felt like I was kind of blocked. Oh, okay. There's just
No, remember, you're like a tiny little basketball.
I wonder if there's ooh, I can connect to a laptop. Hold on. Information.
A laptop in space.
Oh, cool. This guy might still be alive.
Emma, I'm in my suit. I don't know what is happening. I was trying to unlock the door after the lockdown and the module started shaking, and then...
Let's see.
Sam,
How did Sam...
jettison the module. How did Sam jettison the fucking module, Em? He shouldn't be able to do that.
Whew, swear
I'm going to
words.
try and work my way around the station exterior. Ah, shit.
Okay, well, we learned something about ourselves and what we've done. Is that all I can really do in here? That looks like it.
I felt like there was more, but maybe not.
Later. Or maybe there's just controls I need to look for. But yeah, she said we need to go to like the exterior of EAS 3.
EAS 3, yes. Yeah. So find EAS 3 and we'll fly around it, and hopefully we can finish this in this episode. Yeah, I don't know if you can get into the other section. I think it might be blocked by debris.
That looked like it. Okay. So that was like a side thing.
Yes.
But
that was EAS 12.
Yeah.
So you need to probably fly down here.
Yeah. She did say at the bottom of the arm, so she meant arm of the station, as in
yes.
Like,
so
section.
Like see the circle-y hexagonal thing? You probably have to go all the way down to there.
Or close to it, yeah. Well, yeah. What was confusing me was just, I thought she meant a physical arm, like space stations have. Well, there's 2.
Yeah, I think 2 is the like interconnecting parts.
Yeah, there's
5.
3 is probably that center, right?
I think that's 3.
Do we get to like just look at a map?
No, there's no map for the outside of that.
I wish it could just show me the inside map, though.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it can. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So, ooh, is that where we're connected wrong? Maybe there? Hole contacts!
There you go. Gotta get closer.
Yeah, okay. No response, though.
Well, you're just supposed to disconnect it, right? So.
Oh, maybe these are the controls right here. Hey! Out of range. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's really confusing because like the left stick controls cameras like panning and zooming, but then that switches to the right stick as soon as you get in the ball. So you just constantly. Okay.
Yay! Another mini game.
Yeah.
We love mini games.
So these are So, oh, okay. How do I unclamp? Do I select over here?
I think you just click on like the red things or something, probably.
That says clamp not engaged, but we don't want it to be engaged, do we?
Start clamp reset, maybe?
Do we?
There you go.
Okay, maybe. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, I have to like time it, and it's like, press this button. Okay, I press the button. Hold X. Oh, it said press X before, and then this time it said hold X, didn't it? No? Okay, hold X. Clamp open, hold X. Hold. Oh, okay. I get it now. It's freaking, what's the game? Heavy Rain. You gotta start holding multiple things at once and, like, move your hand around the controller, so people that have, like, handicaps probably have a hard time with this section of the game. Okay, so it's just gonna be the you know what I mean by the Heavy Rain, right?
I played Heavy Rain, yeah.
Okay.
I liked it a lot when it came out, and then I beat the game, and I was like, what?
Oh, is it really fast? I never played it.
No, just I was disappointed with the direction that the story went.
Oh, okay. Did you play the effective sequel, the Ex Machina or whatever it was called? Not Ex Machina, the
Detroit
Become Human. Yeah,
I played the demo for it. I was underwhelmed. I did play Until Dawn, and I actually kind of liked Until Dawn.
Was that the same company?
Yeah, Until Dawn was the horror one, the kids in the cabin.
Okay.
Teenagers in the cabin.
I might not have ever heard of that one.
Or
at least seen it.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I liked it better than the other games in the same style.
Points are reading true.
But
That's working.
I also felt like it had a lot of missed potential.
It's gonna take
Like one of the fundamental problems with that game that I thought was that they have like relationship meters and stuff like that between the different characters. But
what can you see?
all of the characters are like high school best friends. So you can't affect their relationships all that much.
Right,
and it
'cause
doesn't.
It's established.
Right, they all have established relationships. I thought a much better way to do that would have been if it's a bunch of total strangers stuck in a cabin, and your decisions actually make them. Yeah, I think you have to just go around EAS3 and do other clamps. So don't fly.
No, she said take a look around.
Oh.
She said take a look around. It's going to be a few minutes while this happens. Take a look around and survey the damage, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think you just have to look at things and tell her about what's damaged. So look at all the parts that look broken or whatever, and tell her, report back to her, like those solar panels. So I thought that Until Dawn would have worked much better if it were like a bunch of total strangers, and the decisions that you made would actually like affect whether or not they liked or trusted each other. And then their trust levels with one another would then lock out certain options. Like, you would not be able to make a choice to trust another character or to like do what another character was telling you to do if your current player character didn't trust that character beyond a certain threshold. If that makes sense.
So you wanted it to be more of an RPG. Like an actual like role-playing RPG.
Well, what I wanted was for all of the little choices that you're making to matter. Because the problem with these, was it David Cage? Is that the name of the guy who's making these games?
I don't know.
Well, the problem with all of these, cinematic QuickTime event games, whatever the heck the genre is that there are basically only a few points in the game where you actually make plot-critical decisions. And everything else, 90% of the decisions that you make in the game are fluff. And I understand that that it would be way too expensive to make a game that literally branches at every decision point that you make. But, like, I mean, I feel like these games are still just more restrictive than they need to be. And
more on rails, perhaps?
More on rails than they need to. And in the case
because they're trying to tell a story more than they're trying to...
And in the case of Until Dawn, I thought that game was hamstrung by the story it was trying to tell. Like I said, I thought a strangers trapped in a cabin together story would have better suited that game's mechanics than the, high school BFFs story that they actually ended up telling.
Right, or at least there needed to be strangers to each other in it, or it's like there's not really a big deal because everybody already trusts everyone as a bad initial state for a horror story, in my opinion. Unless like there needs to be something external for them to
pretty sure
not
you can
trust.
report that damage.
I don't know. I haven't been able to report.
No,
anything,
not the solar panels. It's up.
That damage? I've tried, but you know what? We'll figure this out next time on the branch. How about that?
Sure.